Good morning, everybody. Hopefully we're having a good day. So let's just focus on what is going on out there. So let's let this all load in, and I'm going to just drop this link in a couple spots, and then we will begin. One more. Let me just drop it in Twitter, and then we are golden. Okay, we are good. So first and foremost, I just want to go through this so that we're all on the same page on what I'm looking at. You can see all the stocks I've been looking at this morning. I am short Melly still. I did nothing with it. I am building a position in SQQ just to get it out of the way. I'm hoping this gets under 12, but let's get into the index and let's talk about what's really going on. So we're bidding up 2.5% and everybody's getting giddy. I just want to point this out. You're stopping right at the 5-day and you haven't made a higher high yet. So there are your levels. You want to watch this 333 level and you want to watch getting and closing above this 5-day. 1, 2, 3, 4 days where you could not close above that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. What I'm saying is when people are getting giddy, that's when you have to look at being on the other side of this. You know, selling the rallies has been working. Shorting them has been working. Buying into them has not been working. It's not rocket science, right? So I'm expecting this to fade again. Whether or not it does, I have no idea. Now, remember, CPI is tomorrow, but it's really important to just think about. So that's really what I want to go through. So just focus on that. Good morning, Arat. That's really what I have to go over. I'll take questions. I mean, I have a lot that I can address, but I'm better off asking questions this morning. Yeah, I mean, that's up to you. Like if you bought gold yesterday, I mean, it's not something that I play with because this can happen pretty fast. I'm not a big fan of playing with gold, but you know, you didn't break the 5-day, you didn't break support. So, I mean, if you go back and take a look at where support and resistance are in regards to this right here, I mean, you didn't break that, did you? Right. So, I mean, you're at 186. Here's major support. Who cares? Right. So you're down today. So what? I mean, where is it tomorrow? Like, you know, you just have to start thinking like that. Like, first off, I wouldn't have bought gold yesterday anyway. You don't buy gold when it breaks out. Like you don't do that. So just FYI. Second, you have to be really careful about shorting into this market. I added a short yesterday on Melly. It's probably the one that I'll get hurt on the most this morning, just because of where I entered it on the breakdown. But I thought we could gap down today, actually. But it seems like people are positive with the talks, and maybe the talks lead somewhere. I'm just not buying it. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing a nice little move in Tesla, and you're probably going to get to that 21-day and then see how it acts at that 21-day. But I wouldn't be jumping into Tesla. I wouldn't be closing my puts 3% up on a market that by 10 o'clock has rolled every single morning we've rolled. Now, one morning it's not going to roll, right? We all know that. You have to deal with slurping today. I went to coffee. So, but one day we're not going to roll. I understand that. But until that day, you have to go on the assumption that it's going to be like Groundhog Day, if you ever saw that movie. So yeah, Jen, I've already started to short. I mean, I've already started to do it. You know, the thing about it is we're all starting to realizing that these are traps, right? We're all starting to look at them as traps. So eventually they will not be a trap. Eventually it will not go down. The question is when. Now you have CPI tomorrow. You have the Fed meeting next week, and you have quad witching coming up. All of those things are important. So all of them, and they're all going to benefit, you're going to benefit from those. So let's just start going through these. I will throw this out there. I think that if this rallies, yeah, this is just an outright short to me on any kind of position. This Netflix has just got major issues. I mean, the fact that you closed at 340 and you're going to bid up to 350. I mean, just giving you an opportunity to put a trade on, in my opinion. But that's up to everyone's got to trade differently and everyone's got to think differently. But that's just my opinion of it. Now, Disney, let me go through that. That's what made me think of Netflix. And let's get rid of these and get rid of these. And give me 1 second here to pull up a fresh piece of paper for me to write my notes on. So now, okay. So let's just keep going. So yeah, I'm going on the assumption, Jen, it's going to be a failed rally. Disney, look, you're trying to hold this line. You're trying to hold 134. Maybe you hold it. Maybe you do. I'm not buying it. I wouldn't even think of buying this until I'm above the 5-day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, eventually these will bounce. I'm just not sure today's the day. We bounced 4% yesterday, right? We had a 4% move in the market yesterday. We finished flat. You'd have to explain to me why today's going to be different. I can only go back on history and then make decisions based upon that. If they came out and said, yes, we have peace, we're going to stop immediately, we're going to withdraw all troops out of Russia, or I'm sorry, we're going to withdraw all troops out of Ukraine. Okay, the market's going to rally. I just don't see that happening on a Wednesday. I think it happens over a weekend, over a long talk. But I could be wrong. So, I would watch that. It's not something I'd be jumping into right now. I like this a lot, and I'm hoping it gets hit today. So I'm down about, it's saying 280 here, but I'm looking at like printing at 250. My hope is that that's accurate, and then I am able to get in and up in that, and then I get to that $12 on like some massive sell-off where people start dumping their energy names. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping I get there. So that might happen here. And that'd be great because I'll add to it. So let's see. We'll see how that plays out. IMPP. Didn't they have some kind of talk yesterday with a merger or something? I'd have to look at the news, but I thought there was something like that where people were talking about this. Doing great, they were doing something. Acquired 2 tankers yesterday. So I mean, maybe they go. Maybe it goes again. I don't know. You need to hold this 4 3/4 level. This breakout yesterday this looked like it was really going to go. It just didn't. I mean, it broke out perfectly, just reversed, nasty, and came all the way back down. So something to think about. But yeah, I mean, this is really kind of where you buy it, if you're thinking about it, and then you just kind of make sure you close above that 4 3/4. If you want to try it, I mean, it could go again, sure. So kind of interesting. It's up into this information. But hey, you two, good morning. Hey, Zim. Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels that way to me. I mean, I don't know why we would think any differently, right? Why would we think differently that it's not a bear trap like every other time has been? And again, there will be a time when it won't be, but for now, I would just watch this. And we'll see how we open. We'll go from there. That's all we can do. I'm not buying that. These charts are so broken. I'm not buying them. I mean, like, this is so broken. I actually think that you could be heading back to this 75 level. I'm certainly not buying something up 6% today. The very first thing you'd have to see is it get above this 121, right? Then you need to see it get above the 50. Then you have to get above the 5. Then you have to get above the 21. I mean, this has so much work to do that it's just silly. Now, if you got rid of all this and you look at this doji, right? School of thought is that this doji is basically a Morningstar position and that you could trade back to this 135 level. That is possible. right? That is possible that you hold this line. I mean, it's kind of interesting that the line I drew, you're sitting right on. But if you get over that 121, you can bounce to 135 if this squeeze continues. Absolutely. I'm just of the school of thought that I don't think it's going to continue, but that doesn't mean I'm right. So it very well could. I think it's most telling that you're seeing that the Qs are up the most, IWM's up the least, which is the strongest market, and then the SPY. So it kind of shows you that this is a short squeeze. Does not really mean that this can't go on longer. Just understand what it is. It's probably not sustainable without pulling back. But you'd need 121, and then you could see if it got to 135. I'm not interested in that trade today, buying stuff up 7%. So that's not appealing to me at all. It's more appealing to me to look to put short positions on off of what's going on today, and then seeing where we are at 10 o'clock. I mean, the majority of these rallies, again, have failed. It doesn't mean that we do, but you should think that way. Good morning, Samira. Hey, Thomas. So in regards to oil stocks, yeah, I think you can look at them in general. You seem to be wanting to pull back this morning. If they pull back because oil's dropping because the talks are going on, that's great. If you think that there's not going to be bumps in the road of talks, something to think about. Now, we have not closed below the 5-day on the energy sector since we began. This is the open. This is not where you're at, right? So we don't really know what's going to happen yet. What I would say is if you see a break of that below that and you close below that, well, that's going to be an issue. And you could see this tumble down to here, which could create more pressure in energy names. That could absolutely happen, but we just don't know that yet. So we're really going to have to see how that plays out. We really just don't know. So we'll watch and we'll wait, and we'll go from there. I mean, that's all we can really do. Now, I like the energy names here. I'd like buying them on dips. I mean, that's where I want to buy. It's like SQQs. I mean, I'm just being blunt. I bought them this morning. So I want to buy dips. I don't want to be buying things that are breaking out. If the Qs get over the higher high, I will consider getting out of the trade. But until then, I just don't see a reason to. In regards to the stocks, what I would look for is I would just look for how we're going to react to this 5-day. The very first thing you need to see if you think this is sustainable is to get over yesterday's high, right? Yesterday's high was on the fact that there were peace talks. That was yesterday's high, right? That's why we rallied. Now, where'd those peace talks land us? Well, hopefully something comes of it, because nobody wants the war. You just don't. But major resistance right now is this 37 level. But the very first thing you have to do is get over 34. And you've been unable to get above this 5-day moving average for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days now. So maybe today's the day that you do it. I'm just not interested in doing something that's up, 10%. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. In regards to Tesla, let's take a look at this. I had a lot of questions on Tesla today, Matt, and let's just focus on this. If we got rid of all of this and we focused on one index, and ever since we broke that, we have unable to close it and have a higher high above the 21-day. So what should you do when it gets up to here, right? You should sell it, right? You should sell it. And then if it gets through it and closes over it, you might have an issue. Then you have a wedge line. Then you have this. Again, I'm going to stress this. Eventually, one day we will run and this market will go up. I'm not so sure today's the day. I mean, you want to be putting on risk going into the CPI tomorrow? That's something that people need to think about. So just something to think about. To me, I think that's pretty clear what to do here, right? You sell into this. If you're long, you sell into this. If you're not short, here's your shot, right? And then you have a $10 stop. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it. We'll see where we open. Like for example, like Melly's bidding up $5. Okay. It's not even on 1,000 shares, right? I mean, you could literally go through this and, okay. So you see like these got 2 trades up here, right? And you can't even see them. I have 2 trades here, and that's where they're marking me. I'm going to call nonsense until I see the open. And I think that's where you have to be. I think you'd be very suspect of what you're seeing this morning. I think you have to realize that if you bought yesterday's dip, you did well. If you bought yesterday's rip, you did not do well. So continue to do that. I don't see NVIDIA getting back through 225. I just don't see it. And that's exactly where you got to, right? 224. Now, maybe you do. Maybe you do get back to that. Maybe you get to that 230 level. To me, this is a great spot for those that wanted to short yesterday to put the short back on, right? And then write it down and see if you can get back to that 206. Look, quadruple bottoms are like a unicorn. I'm not telling you they're not going to happen, but to expect that this hit this level 4 times and it not to break and close below this level in the next week or two is kind of silly. You have no idea what the CPI is going to be tomorrow. It could be disastrous. It could be good, right, for the market. We just don't know. So, but you have to look for signs and see what's going on out there. Right now, gold's trying to break that major support level. Maybe it does, right? That's what you have to look. So, but hey, Servathia. So what do we want to look at? FCX? Sure. Let's take a look at FCX. I mean, you went right to the 21-day this morning, right? If you were looking for a spot to buy it, it's probably here with a close below it. Okay, this is what you're looking for. This is when you buy commodities. Did the world stop needing copper? Right? Because now we're all going to peace and love. I mean, Russia is talking about stockpiling all their raw materials to the end of the year. Okay, that did not change overnight. So demand for this is not going to change overnight. Same with steel, same with oil. It's not going to go away. So now that you're down, again, just look at that number and look at where you're down from the soup to nuts, right? You're down 14% from the high, 12% from the high. Probably a decent spot where it might bounce, okay? Now, you got to watch how you open. You have to watch this doji and watch this level. But just because you're sitting right here does not mean that this is where you're going to open, right? It doesn't mean that. So something to think about. Now, well, I don't think, I mean, look, they're having talks. Okay. I think that we're all geopolitical experts now, right? We're all putting on our geopolitical hats. Look, if this is really simple, he cannot, from what I gathered from my limited experience with this, he cannot hold Ukraine. He cannot do it, right? He cannot do it. So, and that's true that he doesn't have the money to hold it, and the people are not going to want him there, right? So it's a problem. And so he's not going to be able to hold it. So he's going to have to end it. Every day he's there, he's getting more and more sanctions. But the problem with sanctions and the problem with doing the way that the world handled this is we have sanctioned everything. Now we're stopping to buy their product. You don't think China's going to buy their products? So where does that put us? Right? So all they're going to do is switch to forget SWIFT. They're probably not going to invite Visa and MasterCard back into the country. They're probably going to use this new SWIFT project. They're probably going to, eventually, do you think that Russia's going to wait for the EU to say that they're stopping their gas over the course of the year? Or do you think, right? Or do you think that they're going to put themselves in a position where Russia just turns off the spigot? So I think commodities and the selling of commodities is just, I think it's very naive. Very naive. I mean, think about what he's going to do if he's willing to invade a country. So I think you have to look at it that way. So I do not buy, but gold I would avoid. I'm not a big gold buyer. If I was going to buy gold when it's down 5-10% on a day, that's when I would look at doing it. Oh, you're welcome, my friend. Yeah, emotion's very tough to control, but you have to put parameters in, right? You have to stop thinking of what am I going to lose and just start coming up with systems that work. I mean, look, I'm short. Like I'm going to, my short-term trading account is short and I have losses this morning. Does not affect me. Just come in, regroup, look at your positions, make decisions and go from there. And you can already see that we're starting to roll if you're looking at all this. And maybe we come in, or, maybe I have a bad day, but I can trade all day today to make it a better day. Well, then don't do that. Like, if it's not working, then you're doing something wrong. If you're never up on your positions that you're shorting, don't short. I mean, it's that simple. Just don't do it. Figure out what you're doing wrong. You're doing something wrong. If you're not making money shorting in this environment, you're doing something wrong, because this has been one of the best shorting environments I've had in years. I mean, there's something going on there, Cameron. We can talk about it, but you should be doing well on the short side. I mean, just keep them short, keep the position short. Yeah, I'm not really sure why we're exploding to the upside. I guess that people are realizing that the shippers are going to come back and that shipping routes are going to open up again. I have no idea why we're doing what we're doing here in this, but this is rocking and rolling now. Oh, earnings. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I'd be buying this into earnings on an earnings explosion this morning. I'd be apprehensive, to say the least. Maybe it keeps going, but you have to be really careful about buying stuff up 8%. Frankly, if I was in this and I was looking for a way out, they just gave it to me this morning, I'd be really careful about buying breakouts like that, Jen. I really would. Well, I don't add to losers, so I would be really careful doing that unless they're not full positions. Like I started a position in Melly yesterday, just at Zwan, so I am not adding to it. I'm down. Who knows? Probably maybe halved off the open and the options. I have to see. We'll have to see how it actually opens. But I'm not doing a darn thing. I'm not adding to it. Now, I might add to new short positions, but I don't know that I'd add to NVIDIA. What I might do is I might put on AMD, right? I might look at shorting AMD here. I might look at shorting, the stocks here. Something in the same vein, but not the same stock, because that becomes dangerous. Because then you tie yourself emotionally, and ego drives your decisions, and you want to stay away from ego. Yep, let's take a look at EVGO. So, I mean, it looks pretty good. If you continue to break out, I think that looks great. I'm not really sure what the news is. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I like the chart. And you're getting above average volume. So, yeah. I mean, this could keep going. See how you broke the higher high? Now you're here. I mean, you really don't have anything till $14. So I don't know. They're in the EV space. Is that it? So yeah, this can keep going. It looks like this looks good. And this is a really simple trade, because all you're using is the breakout right here. And then if you break below this 1075, you just get out of the trade. But meanwhile, if it goes, this could keep going. This makes sense. I don't know why it's moving the way it's moving. Maybe you can enlighten me, but this does make sense to take a look at. So, hey, Ashish. So my thoughts are pretty simple on all this. On the Qs, just watch 333. I already started shorting more this morning. I don't talk about futures accounts. I'm not really going to get into it, but what I would do is I'd buy SQQ. I've been buying it all morning. And I have been, shorting TQQs. I've been playing with futures. I'm just not buying it. I look at this morning as a gift, quite frankly. So if you looked at it as a gift, you've already made $10 in this, right? I mean, where was the high of this? So, well, I mean, come on, man. Like, set your levels. Where'd we get to? So all the people that were in here, what'd they do? As soon as it hit there, they got out. So that's how you have to think, right? Think about the person that got trapped in here. Start thinking that way. If they're trapped in here, are they holding to see if you break this? Probably not. There's $12 somebody made this morning, right? Look at this dropping already, right? It was up another $10 already down. So just look for stuff like that, right? You'll find signs of it if you keep looking. But that's where my head is. I wouldn't be surprised to be down on the day and have a massive short day, like massive. You know, all it takes is one person to come out and say talks fizzled. They're not going to do that. And Russia's going to look at any kind of talks as weakness. You know, he's got to come out of this on top or he's not going to stop. I do think he's shocked by what how the world responds to it. I do agree with that. That is one thing that I think is good from what's happened with the sanctions. But what it's doing to the Russian people is, to me, is just not. I have an issue with it. But the reason I'm bringing that up is I think the markets respond accordingly when it ends. Now, you have to get through that 34.64. Until then, I would short this. Let me get some more coffee. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. But so that's how I'm viewing it. I mean, look, you're going to bounce around today, and as you bounce around, you just have to put yourself in a position to use stops and go from there. Yeah, I am. I think we're being given an opportunity this morning. I don't think anything's changed. What's changed? Right? This is probably going to go up because Bitcoin's running. So maybe you get up here a little bit higher, but this to me looks like a gift. So maybe I'll feel differently in the first half hour of trading, but right now, no, I don't feel that way. I think Qualcomm is giving you a gift, right? I mean, you have to work off this entire wick. Like understand this. This market bounced 2.5%, right? And you're not even over where you were yesterday. I mean, how much buying is really going on under the hood? And then you look at something like this and you can't even find volume, right? When you're looking at this, you can't even find real volume. And I think that's very telling. I think that's telling you everything you need to know about this rally so far. Now, I'm not saying that we don't see, a bounce, because eventually you're going to. I don't know that you're going to see it before the CPI number. I certainly don't believe what I'm seeing as far as sustainability. So if you're to ask me if I think that this is sustainable, the answer is no. I don't think that this is sustainable. I think you're going to roll again, but time's going to tell. We're going to see how strong the shorts are here. But yeah, I like both of them. DLTR FUV. Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of that, Chad, where people are looking at like these, this kind of stuff and thinking it's going to roll and it's going to go up. I mean, it did spike. I think that's, good for that on oil. I mean, maybe it keeps going. I don't know. The EVGO one, out of all the ones that people are talking about, that's kind of like in this space. I mean, this kind of looks good, but you have to kind of see. I don't know. I'm not a big buyer of this. Could it go? Yeah. I mean, this could go. It could get up to 10. The easy money's been made. So, yeah, I mean, so, you're breaking out here and you're breaking out of that base, and you really want to watch these levels when this happens, because this is big. Like if you can get above this and stay above that today, like if you can close above this level, right, which you've already failed once, and now you're going to be above this level, you do want to watch that on these kind of breaks, because look, this was earnings, right? So you had this huge earnings move, and then you based, and then you found you don't even need these indicators. You don't need this. I'm going to take this out. So really what I'm showing you is this is earnings, right? And now you can look at that level. Get rid of this. See this level? And then look how you responded to it, broke it. So support flipped to what? Resistance, back over, becomes support, support. These were your test areas where you could have bought. And now look. So yeah, over that level, can this go? Absolutely. It absolutely can. And it looks like there's a huge channel right here too. So just watch this channel, but you know, I mean, that's really what you're dealing with. So there's another little one right there, but let's just look at this one, 160, 162. I mean, it's possible. So just watch it, see how it goes. So again, you're going to have to watch the open. You're going to have to see how we actually open and how everything actually acts. But to me, I'm very apprehensive to buy a market. What's going to be, where are we now? Where are the Qs? You're up 2.7%. Yeah. Like I'm not in a big hurry to buy anything. I mean, if they come out and say world peace, then yeah, we're going to go up. Yes. I'm expecting a fade. Exxon and Qualcomm. Qualcomm, I covered. Exxon. Look, if this gets hit on this news substantially, I would look at buying this around $83. Nothing is going to change here. Like as far as oil prices collapsing and everything else, I just don't see it. So that's where my focus is. And that's where I think that your head could be. I don't see a sense in doing anything here yet, anything. So I don't think it's a true rally now. Look, get over a higher high from yesterday, right? So, I mean, you want to see if this is a true rally? Here's your first thing, because nobody knows, right? Like you just don't know. So anyone that's going to say, oh, I know for sure that this is not a true rally, they're just lying because you don't know. But I do know this. I do know the first thing I have to do is get over 427. I actually have to get over 427 and a quarter. Once I'm over 427 and a quarter, maybe I'll start taking it a little more seriously. Once I'm over this 333 level, 333 and a quarter, maybe I'll start taking it a little more seriously. Until then, I have zero interest in that, zero. And it's not something that I'm going to be looking at all, as far as buying. I mean, I'm going to be on the other side of this. Like people that are buying this at up 10%, I can tell you right now, I'm already salivating thinking of shorting that and how quick you're going to make 5-6 points off the open. Doesn't mean I'm right, but you're going to have to look at those levels I just gave you, and you're going to have to see if these break out over that, and then we'll go from there. So, yeah, I would be buying the dips. SPWR. Yeah, well, I mean, these are all going to come in, right? I mean, like all these names are going to just get crushed today. So, I mean, that's if this continues, these names are going to get absolutely hammered. ENPH, SDEDGR, SEDG, right? These are all going to get destroyed, right? So, I mean, if this is real, ENPH, SEG, I mean, all of those are going to get hammered, right? If this continues. So something to think about. But for me, I'm not shorting them yet, but I would look at them. I'd look at them for shorts. Sure. Yeah, they are getting some volume. Yeah, I mean, India is getting some volume lately, but I think you just have to be suspect of what you're saying, and I'm not saying that it can't work, and I'm not saying that we can't go higher. I'm just saying be suspect. Qualcomm. Yeah, we went over Qualcomm. You probably saw it already. Skechers, give me a symbol, SKX. Is that it? Yeah, there it is. I mean, I wouldn't go near this. Unless you're looking for a short, I would not go near this. You'd at least need to get over that 38 and a quarter for me to consider it. Yes, I am. Yes. On coin. Good morning, Bob. Yeah, I've been shorting all morning. I mean, all morning I've been shorting. I can't be any clearer, AK. It doesn't mean I'm right, but understand where my stops are, right? Like, I just want to be very clear about this. So, like, where I will start getting concerned that I'm wrong is when we get over this higher high. Once we get over this higher high, I will be concerned that I'm wrong. And I'll probably start closing those short positions and taking losses and looking for the next setup. That's what I will be doing, right? I'm not married to any position. I'm not married to any thought process. Like, well, let me rephrase that. I'm married to my thought process, but I'm also understanding that I could be wrong. I mean, we could melt up 5% today. I don't want to be around for that. I don't want to be short for that. So I take the loss if it happens, and then I reevaluate what's going on and go from there. But just reminder of this, right? Let's just go through this so we're all on the same page. You're not even above the 5-day moving average, and you keep projecting the 5-day moving average, which tells you that somebody is using the 5-day moving average as a guide and selling into it, right? So maybe that's something that you should put into your system right now to look at. I would just look, if you're in UPST and you're going to close it for a loss on the short side, then what I would do is I would just watch 121. If I'm above 121, you should get out, because you can get above the 50, go to here, and you can go to 135. Like, you can see these moving averages here, right? But look at this. I went through this already, but this is a doji. Flipping the doji, you have a morning star, and you have a morning star right on a rising wedge. I still think it could break and see $75 based upon where it closed yesterday. But because here, let me show you this. Based upon this close, I still think that's possible, right? But if you're wrong, or if I'm wrong, right, that it doesn't do that, this 121 is your stop. So you're $2 away. So, I mean, at this point, you have to wait. Qualcomm we covered. Yep, please hit the like button. It does help the channel. CHPT will get hit, because if we have peace, people won't think that they need charging stations, which is just silly. If it goes up, I would be suspect of that, right? Like, why would these go up now? Because they're going to put charging stations in. They've been putting charging stations in. Watch it. I'd be suspect of this, but it does look good. I mean, maybe you get to this $20. Yesterday's action was excellent. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. It was a great trade yesterday. People were looking at this. The fact that you have, this going on here, I can actually move this up. Well, let's grab this and put this right here, right? See that level? Flipping it, bonk, 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 right? And then you went. That's exactly what you want to say. Exactly what you want to say. So it's there, Lex. I mean, it is there. Like, I'm not going to knock it. I shouldn't knock it. It's not my kind of trade, but I get it. And you could get up to $20. You could see $20 on that. Absolutely. So something to think about. Good morning, boss. About Microsoft. Sure. Let's look at Microsoft. So again, right to the what? Where did we get to? Right here, and rejection. So I'm behind on the day. I just noticed that. Let's look at the clock. I got to get going here. So, yep, if you can get above the 5, maybe. But here's your first resistance, 26.35. Crisp. Give me a second. I just missed one. What's going on, Paul? Yeah, I know that this is a big one that people love. You're in a major downtrend, and you're not getting any love. If you really wanted to play this, get a close above the 50-day. Until you get a close above the 50-day, I would avoid it. So, Crisp. I like Crisp long term. I don't see, I do. I really like it long term. You're in a major, when you look at this, you're just in a major 45-degree downtrend. Now, maybe you stopped, maybe, but you need to be looking super long term if you're buying this right here. There's nothing redeeming about this chart, nothing. So charging stations, yeah, maybe it goes higher. EVGO, maybe it goes higher on the charging stations news. Maybe that does. I don't know. Did they start building charging stations yet? Like all over? So, they raised $1 trillion to do it. HAL. I haven't seen anything new. I've seen the Lucid spot in Miami, but that's really it. Yeah, this is really where you want to get involved. I don't know if today's the day or not, but getting back to 34 after being up here at 39, this is really where you start getting involved in them. So no word on RSX, but if it would probably be up today. And I sold a ton of puts that are just going to expire in March. They expire Friday, and I am long stock. I'm fine with it. They'll open it when they open it. So I think that's going to be one of the. I'm hoping they keep that ETF and they don't get rid of it. So I think that's going to be one of the greatest trades of the next couple of years, frankly. Yeah, I mean that if you're looking at setups on the long side, just watch. I mean, I'd be using this as a spot to short. Yeah, I'm going to have to jump here on some of this, Bobby. Let me just go through this really quickly for CVNA. I'll do a fast lightning round, but then I got to go. I would not go near this. Okay. As commodity prices come in, the used car inventory prices are going to come in. That's what's happening here. Just in case you're not getting that. That's what's happening. I think DocuSight's way overdone. Yeah, we spiked on the news. So I think that's good. I mean, look, I'd rather get hammered in my shorts and have world peace and get back to making money on the long side. It's much easier to make money on the long side. Lex, we covered it. Please hit the like button. It supports the channel. And you can tell I don't run ads purposely. Yes. I don't see that. I don't have that SPY. I have, hold on. We're not over 427, right? Yeah. So watch 427, Anna. D-Dog and KR. D-Dog. No. Maybe if you flip that level, maybe. Like if you can flip this here. Like if you can flip that right there, right? Then you could possibly see the top of this line. Here, let's get rid of this. I don't know why that line's there. It's so far off. There it is. Wow, that was off. Flip that level, and yeah, you can get up there. KR. Yeah, that might be able to work if this continues. You need 335. This is outright short. It was an outright short as soon as you broke this. 57.40. Outright short. So MDB. Wow. I mean, that's so done. Like, I mean, maybe you do it off the open. Maybe, but you need to watch this. Like you could get up to here really quickly. 332. So is it earnings? Yeah. I mean, you had earnings. So I don't know that I'd be shorting this. They might be better. You know what I mean? They might be better than we anticipated. I don't know. I got to jump, everyone. I got to hop in the room. Everybody, trade to win today. If you need something, reach out, email me, or put a comment in. I answer all the comments. Thanks.